Oh yeah, super solid. You want to just go down the list and yeah, 100%. Niners are one of those teams where it's like you watch the Eagles and the Ravens draft and you're like, okay, this guy's probably gonna pan out and at least contribute for them and be productive is what you anticipate when you see those types of teams draft. So I think it speaks volumes that that's the program that is bought into what Indiana's doing.
I have the list in front of me. So the undrafted
How many
guys.
draft picks did Kentucky have this year, Peanut? Can you tell me? They had actually a few. I'm
They had a
serious.
first rounder.
Yeah, and they didn't even make the playoff. That's crazy. That's insane.
I love Jalen Walker.
Because I know Kentucky's a Kentucky fan who kind of just
Well, I
watched
was
their
gonna
show,
say,
which is fine. Like, welcome.
Jalen Walker ended up in Las Vegas. To me, that's the only landing spot where, like, obviously new ownership, kind of new deal going on there. Not sure exactly what to think about how they're going to use their guys, but as far as like Jalen Walker in the modern NFL, yeah, is he slightly undersized to play outside linebacker? Maybe. Is he built much more like a safety? Yes. Does Budda Baker play in the box at much less, like at much smaller? Yes. Like Jalen Walker loves football, is a freaky athlete, is clocked at 22.5 miles an hour, can absolutely play special teams right now. Like, you teach that kid to play gunner. Yeah, obviously. Dude loves ball. Like, that's a guy who's like going to be a joy to coach. And same thing with like Walker, Wettig, Price, Keyshawn Williams, Horton, Carp. Like, these dudes are coaches' dreams when it comes to bringing people into the locker room. So for as much as the on-field stuff, it's the off-field stuff. Like, again, like we saw the talk about Shedeur Sanders and kind of why he was sliding down draft boards, but like the quote unquote character concerns, like there is none of that with these dudes. Like, they all love football, they all work hard, they're all willing to play special teams, they're all willing to grind. Like, I don't know if he's gonna like be an all, like, I'm not telling you he's gonna be all pro, but like, if you're gun to my head, is Jay Walker gonna make an NFL roster? Yes.
Yeah, I think it's about him making the roster. It's the Raiders, they sucked last year, so I think he was a guy. You'll if you've watched football and you kind of just pay attention to someone, you kind of just it sounds not counterintuitive, but just like obvious that the teams that had the most success in college turn out to have a good chunk of those guys become starters, major contributors on very good teams and in the NFL in general and have great careers and play for a very long time. And you could just kind of point that out to if they make a playoff, a 12-team playoff, they're probably got some really good players on them. And Jalen Walker is a guy who's a freaky athlete. Yes, undersized, so I don't know if he's going to get rotational snaps at linebacker, honestly, anytime in his career. He might fill in for injury maybe at some point, but he does fit the modern mold where linebackers are getting lighter and faster. So that benefits him, obviously, long-term. So if he just can put on some weight, but clear special teamer. It's just about him being able to execute on there. And I think a Cignetti program prepares him for that just based on how many starters we saw playing special teams this year. He's ready to compete for that job. 100%. Just the athlete that he is, his love of the game, and the preparation from the Cignetti program. How many Hoosiers get drafted next year? Pons, Kamara. If Mendoza goes, Hemby, Cooper Surratt,
Fisher,
maybe stay. Smith,
Fisher can't stay.
Yeah, Fisher. Did I not say him? Pons, Fisher. Oh, Farrell's probably gone. Honestly, he might go pretty high. There's some NFL guys on that roster. I don't know if they all go next year,
Carter
but
Smith.
Yeah, Pons is first round. I don't know if Angelo's watching, but I saw some mock drafts with D'Angelo Pons first round, like top 25. Yeah, Pons is first round.
This team is talented, and the thing is, like, with NIL and with Indiana's position, we heard Sig talk last week that they're obviously not in that $40 million range, but they have enough money. Like, will they be able to keep guys potentially that would go on day 3 in school an extra year? That could be really interesting for the future outlook of this roster. But first take somebody like Pons, for example. Like, obviously somebody with 2 years of eligibility left, but he'll be draft eligible after next year. Obviously, you want him to stay because of the talent he is, but the faster he gets to the NFL and establishes who he is, like ultimately that's like significantly more impactful, or could be not more impactful, obviously on the field, but what that means for the Indiana program to have somebody like that showcasing their talent on a national level week after week is a massive deal. So like, yeah, it would sting talent wise to lose all of these guys, but like, man, like just the exposure you get from having a lot of really good players in the NFL is like you'd be surprised at how helpful that is in recruiting. Like it's insane. And right now, Indiana is doing that really with no base.
Yeah, it's all about stacking years, stacking days, like I've said time and again. So, the first year is pretty good considering it's the first time we've had multiple draft picks since 2018. Did you know that?
And it was like
for the math
to Sig's credit, he said in the Under the Hood interview that it was going to be closer to 10 guys on NFL rosters, and the number was 8. Like we just talked, Jalen Walker gonna have a chance to make an impact on special teams. Trey Wedig, he was being talked about as kind of a day 3 guy. Again, in that Under the Hood interview, Signetti mentioned that sometimes when you're projected to go in the back half of that draft, it's better to be an undrafted free agent because you get to pick your landing spot. Wedig ends up with the Rams, which
Les Snead, close personal friend of mine, by the way.
Yeah,
friend of mine. Yes, I played high school ball with his son. Yes.
Miles Price ended up in Minnesota. That's another guy who like obvious experience on special teams, tough, gritty, unbelievable teammate. Like it's a theme with a lot of these guys that what you're adding to the locker room is just good, positive people. So
yeah, we'll see. It's tough to be an undrafted lineman in this league.
It is tough to be undrafted, but I'm talking about in terms of like what you're looking for in addition to on the field stuff. All of these guys have. Like Miles Price is not going to have any issues hopping on the field and playing special teams. Like Keyshawn Williams is not going to have any issues trying to play special teams. Like tough, gritty, tough with the ball in his hands after the catch, ends up in Pittsburgh. You think that kid matches with that city? Like Zach Horton ended up in Detroit. You think Zach Horton's a kneecap eater? I think so. Like Carp ended up in Jacksonville, and that dude was like the unsung hero of the Indiana defense. Anytime that any of his teammates or coaches can say like anything positive about him, they attack the opportunity too. Like that dude is talked about so highly among the team and his coaches, and like a lot of it's going to have to be done through special teams because the undrafted route is tough. But like if I'm going to bet on a bunch of dudes that just love football, like that's a pretty good group of guys.
Yeah, I'm not going to show any bias, but I would bet on a bunch of dudes that did go to the playoff. I would. I bet on a lot of those guys. Winners win, and they make winning plays, and a lot of that comes on it shows out in special teams, just your ability to just be a football player at the end of the day. And I think that's what Signetti looks for. But we'll see. Time will tell. I'm excited for all these guys.
I'm pumped for all these guys.
Yeah.
Pumped for all of them. Do you want to anything else regarding the draft you want to talk about?
The draft. Anything specific? So since I'm not going multi-screen, I don't have like the guys in front of me. Miles Price, Vikings, Keyshawn Williams,
Steelers.
Those are just really good situations. It's just going to be tough. We'll see if Price and Williams can make their way specifically for them and as returners. I feel like Key Williams is a lot of he was always a big play guy, more so than Miles Price was just kind of solid. Keyshawn Williams has really legit playmaking ability, tackle shedding ability. Obviously, that comes with acceleration, speed.
Dude, that dude was hard to bring down. That dude was extremely hard to bring down. Like that's a guy who, like, obviously Price, like you just said, special teams is probably his role early. It's like, again, with the way Pittsburgh develops wide receivers, like Keyshawn Williams' toughness, grittiness, ability after the catch, like that those are all stats that those dudes love. And obviously, like we said, like special teams, like none of these dudes are afraid to play special teams.
Yeah, Carpenter on the Jags. Awesome. First off, go Jags. And second,
Bears shirt,
we
Jags
love
probably.
Gladstone. Like we're big Gladstone guys in this
This
fan.
is
We're
this is a Gladstone podcast. I will say that. This
Gladstone
is
podcast, young gun, super talented. I mean, trading a next year's first round for a two-way future Hall of Famer is just, I mean, that's ballsy as hell. He's gambling on the Heisman winner. I don't hate it. Yeah, and he talks about intangibly rich, which is kind of what Travis Hunter embodies, and obviously Carpenter being a gritty, 2-star, worked his way up to the Big Ten and finally gets his chance and was highly productive in college. And yeah, who's to say? He always was, he didn't show it athletically, but for whatever reason, just was making plays, nose for the football, always doing the right thing. Excited for him, honestly.
yeah. I was gonna say
It's a
stop
good
stop
situation
me.
because the Jags suck. So, there are jobs. It's a new regime. There are jobs. No one's job is safe over there. So, great situation for Carp to walk into. And yeah.
Stop me if you've heard this before. High football IQ, high motor, loves the game, gritty, tough. Like,
yeah, walk on it.
I'm not
James.
gonna
I didn't
count
even
that
know
guy
that.
out. At the
Walk on.
same time, like if you were one of the guys who maybe didn't get snatched up immediately as an undrafted free agent or upset that like at this point for somebody like a Sean Asbury, like a Terry Jones, like I don't know what Tyson Lawton's plan is. I got my Lottie shirt on. Those dudes made it so damn far in their football career, so much farther than most people thought they ever could. So if they truly believe in their ability to play at the next level, like why stop now? So I would say if those guys get any wind of this, like if you believe you can do it, don't stop now. Don't let anybody tell you no. So that's my putting a bow on the NFL draft. And then obviously like you bring up that Michael Penix Washington team a lot as a team that had nobody drafted the first year, and then the second year they had 10 guys drafted. Like that's a very real possibility for this team that just had 2 guys drafted and 8 guys on rosters.
Yeah, they were a 10-win team that had 0 players drafted, went to the national championship the very next year with Penix, Rome, a ton of NFL guys, obviously, including Finatu or whatever on the Seahawks. Yeah, I already made comparisons to that team to this team. Obviously, they had a little, they lost Rourke and West, so we'll see if they'll be able to fill that NFL production. But what this tells me in terms of like at the college football level, at college football playoff level, that is, competing in that tournament, what is the differentiator? And that is your ability to replace your NFL talent year in and year out. I believe Indiana has done that at the quarterback position. I think they've maintained, if not slight drop at D tackle, but we're hearing great things about the interior D line. So I have to believe we collectively replaced CJ West on the defense in the interior D line. And then at quarterback, you obviously know where I feel about Mendoza compared to Rourke. I see it as a clear upgrade, and obviously could very well be wrong. We'll see, but quarterback friendly offense. I like Mendoza's ability, tons of upside. Yeah, I think that's what matters, is replacing that NFL talent. And Washington didn't have to do it, and they were able to make a run with continuity and NFL talent.